Hello, Santa Clarita. It's Friday, and it's 2 o'clock or thereabouts, and it's a Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John on Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM-1220, and we're here every week at 2 o'clock or so.
Every week.
That's right.
Every week at 2 o'clock.
I'm not here every week.
Not here. No,
I try to be. But
I might not be here every week either. There's
all right.
But, Doug, I was thinking, I think I'd like a raise.
A raise?
Well, I was thinking,
you mean as in money?
I was on the internet, and everything on the internet's true. But I was reading the story about the guy at gravity.com or whatever.
Wait, time out. Did you hear what Charles Barkley said about the internet?
What?
That's where fools go to feel better about themselves. Yeah, anyway, go ahead.
But it was in the news stories too. Okay. I also heard it on the radio.
Sorry.
I read it in the newspaper. How's that? Are you happy, Doug?
Yep.
That the guy got. He basically decided everybody in his company should get $70,000 a year. And I was thinking,
now, what kind of company was it? Is this Google or something?
I don't know. Who cares?
Okay.
I'm getting $70,000 a year for working at that company. That's not a bad thing. And I work with you, so I'm kind of your employee. And I was thinking maybe you could give me $70,000 a year.
Well, let me tell you what my big bugaboo is. I can't stand when somebody tells me how much I got to pay somebody.
All right. So, okay. Well, since you brought it up, let's talk. Let's put it on the table, Doug. Minimum wage.
I hate talking about that.
Why do you hate talking about minimum wage?
Because minimum wage literally makes me nauseated.
Why does it make you nauseated?
Because the government... I can't stand the government dictating business what to do.
All right.
To me, it's obscene when they tell companies what they have to pay somebody.
But wait a minute.
If somebody wants to work for me and they're willing to work for $3 an hour, I should be able to pay them $3 an hour.
But here's the problem, okay? Even Walmart, okay? If you took Walmart, say they raised their minimum wage to what, $12 an hour?
Right.
Okay, you know what that would do? And they passed that directly onto the consumer. You know what that would equate to?
What?
A 1.1% in the costs of Walmart's goods.
That's fine.
Do you have a problem paying 1.1% to make sure everybody has a standard living
And
wage?
I don't have a problem if Walmart wants to, on their own accord, give their employees a raise because they feel that's what the market demands, or they have to pay to meet what their competitors are paying. I have no problem with that. But if the government's going to come out like the city of L.A. and tell businesses they got to pay $15 an hour.
Well, see, I don't have a problem with somebody getting paid $15 an hour.
I don't either.
But I think I agree with you about the whole government thing. The thing that kills me with this whole $15 an hour thing, okay, and this is what people sort of forget, that's about $31,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Okay? Do you know what a private in the military makes?
Not much.
About $18,000
Yeah, my son was a private,
so you've got burger flipping Johnny versus G.I. Joe. Really? Come on, people.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen is, wow, I just circumvented my entire argument. There goes, I'm not getting a raise.
Now I know where you're
I'm not getting a raise. That's the problem. I'm not going to get a raise. No, I mean, I think let's go back to the guy with the $70,000 a year. Suppose you gave everybody at the Santa Clarita Gazette and Free Classified the same amount of money.
Sorry.
They're all thinking we're going to get a pay cut.
Yeah. I hope
the same amount as you.
I hope they're not listening.
Yeah, they probably aren't. Don't worry. But is there an incentive for them to work harder?
I would say not.
Okay. Or do you think there's going to be some resentment for somebody who goes out and busts their butt because they have a good work ethic versus somebody who doesn't?
I would say so.
And then suppose somebody comes up to them and says, hey, you know something? I'd like a raise. I can't handle $70,000 a year. I need $80,000. Too bad.
Yep.
They leave.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what happened to the I'm tired of people doing it for me, I want to do it myself attitude?
John, it's the whole mentality of our society these days. It's a Santa Claus society.
Where is it not? Can we go to Canada maybe?
I don't know.
Is there a KHTS in Canada?
Yeah.
There is? There's
Totally.
a Canadian. We're going to Canada. We're taking this show to Canada. That's it.
Your hometown station of the...
Yeah, Nanook of the North. That's what we'll be. KHTS, I know, it's just...
We're digressing.
AM-1220?
We're digressing.
Well, gee, there's a first for us, isn't it? No,
John, this minimum wage thing, I'm staying calm, but it really makes me crazy. I'm seriously, because I know I agree with I'm not arguing with your statistics, but I just know the businesses that I deal with, if they were forced to pay a higher wage than they do now, A, they would lay people off, or B, they certainly wouldn't hire new people.
Well, I think it plays into the... I mean, I think a common thread throughout this entire thing is laying people off. They're going to avoid Obamacare. They're going to pay more in wages. It's going to be more expensive to run businesses. Businesses will close. It's not going to be good for the economy.
John, the best thing they could do, and you have to agree with me on this, if they would just cut taxes across the board, the economy would feed itself and improve on its own, and then they could afford to give raises.
Do you think it would, though?
Yes, I do.
Is it just the tax burden that's creating this issue?
It's tax burden and regulations.
Because, see, one thing I think you're missing, Doug, is if you say you cut taxes, okay, and then everybody gives a raise. Everybody gets a raise. Everybody's making minimum wage is now $15 an hour, okay?
Well, no, I'd say it would go to 15 naturally on its own.
Okay,
because the business would thrive.
Oh, no, see, I don't think it would. I think people would keep that money. Business owners would keep that money. But say they bumped it up to $15 an hour, okay? And they cut taxes in exchange, so now people can afford to pay it. I'm not thrilled with the government saying, hey, let's do that, but that's what happens, okay? All of a sudden, you know what's going to happen to your cost of living? Your $3.98 gallon of milk, or whatever it was the other day when I don't buy milk that much, but
It's bad for you.
I feel like Hillary Clinton not knowing how much a gallon of milk is. Sorry, we'll get into that later. That's going to be like $6.50 because everybody's going to have we've got to. It's just
not
silly.
necessarily. When Ronald Reagan came in the office, he was able to cut inflation down by I think 8 or 9% from what it was under Carter by doing what I talked about. I'm no economist, but when he cut taxes, corporate and personal income tax across the board, this economy thrived.
We're going back to the whole trickle down argument.
Yes, we are,
Okay,
and I'm a big fan of that.
But that's assuming that people that it's going to trickle down from aren't going to keep it.
Well, let me ask you this. Is this way working?
Yeah.
Is Obamanomics working?
I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. No, but all right. I guess we just accomplished absolutely nothing except wasting people's lives for 6
It was
months.
fun.
It was fun. We agreed to basically agree.
And it's all about us, so what does it matter?
It is all about us. It's our show. Hey. All right, you listen to Gazette Radio with Doug and John on AM-1220 KHTS, Santa Cruz hometown station. We'll be back.
You do need to know, folks. That's why you're tuning into the Gazette Radio Hour. It's the Radio Digest version of the Santa Clarita Gazette and Free Classifieds on Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM-1220 KHTS.
Now, Doug, before we introduce our guest, I have a confession to make.
What?
You know how much I love it when you do that?
No, you don't like it.
I don't like it at all. I did it every break last week.
When I was gone?
When you were gone.
Dog!
Between that and talking soccer, it was a great week. All right, so we have a special
Soccer on my show?
I don't understand what John's objection is.
It's kind of corny. Every day. We do need to know.
Oh, the slogan.
Yeah, the slogan.
Yeah.
Breaking the song.
Okay.
And, it's horrible. And it'll be like, don't wait. We're not keeping you waiting. All right, so we got Perry Smith.
Doug understands branding.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. All right, we have Perry Smith, the news director of KHTS, with Perry's Week in Review.
Thanks,
so Perry,
fellas.
what's been going on in Santa Clarita? Not that we all don't know.
Yeah, we didn't have...
It hasn't rained.
Yeah, it hasn't rained. We're still in a drought. That's about it. No.
All right, cool. Well, it's been fun talking to you, Perry.
Quick recap. We had a couple interesting stories this week throughout the week, but I didn't think we had anything like,
Nothing
we put in a 90-point font.
Yeah, nothing. No
Dewey defeats Truman.
earthquakes. No Dewey defeats Truman. You guys would have had
Because we like to get it right.
You would
too.
have had truly defeating Truman.
We would have called it for Truman, of course.
Yes.
But no, there was a. I guess we'll start with some of the lighter stuff. There's an LGBTQ group from Saugus High that's raising money to go to a special prom for LGBTQ students in the Antelope Valley. That's something we did a story on. I thought it was kind of interesting. It kind of sometimes interesting. They don't have it out here. They have it in Antelope Valley. These students are raising money to get transportation to there and looking for support from the community for their group.
Can't they get? I'm assuming that the prom is still open to everybody anyway.
Right, and of course, yeah. Sorry,
It's like
I shouldn't make it seem as though they're getting
additional
excluded.
prom.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it's a prom just for that. But of course, they are welcome at the regular Saugus.
Okay. I just wanted to. That would have been a good story. They're not allowed at this prom. Well, you could make that.
I don't know, like it. So, but yeah, it certainly would.
Don't go there, John.
Newsworthy and coverage-wise.
I know. I went wild.
There's sensitive people out there.
On a sad note, Dana Coppa, I heard there was just more than 1,000 people at her funeral. A really sad story. She was the AT&T outreach person, and she was a past chamber president and just a long-time person in this community who knew, obviously touched hundreds of lives.
Oh, yeah.
And she just died at age 43. Had breast cancer and it progressed, and it was very sad.
Yeah, there was a good write-up in the Gazette.
Yes, and I saw it was on the front page of the Santa Clarita Gazette and Free Classifieds.
Yeah, I knew Dana from the chamber activities, and she was very bright, very beautiful, very intelligent. 3 younger kids. It's really sad. Very sad.
And so we had a couple big crime stories as well this
I was
week.
going to say, there's a lot of sentencing coming
There
out.
was surprise for one of them. Actually, I think both of them were kind of a surprise. The Ethan Odom was that really bizarre case that was all over the news for like a day and a half. It picked up national coverage because you very rarely see someone go to a stranger's window, lure a small child to that window, and then grab the child and then run out. I mean, it almost never happens anywhere.
Yeah.
Let alone here, where we have a pretty low crime rate. So it was pretty shocking. It was all over. And that person, Ethan Odom, was a suspect, and he took a 5-year deal. And it was one of the things, just talking to some of the officials close to the case. I don't want to say anything because they were, kind of tough. Yeah. It was the best they could get with what they could prove on the charges.
I guess it's tough to prove.
Yeah, with the kidnapping for intent when you have a 3-year-old victim.
Yeah.
I mean, again, some of the circumstances, it was the best they could do.
It was not a family friend or anything. It was just very random.
The other thing, there was no connection between the victim and a lot of the times in these kind of when they think there's sexual abuse or there's kidnapping, it's often a domestic issue, like I said.
Then
there was no connection, and it was just completely random.
Pure random. That's kind of strange.
And another sentencing, again, it's not so much a surprise the sentence. Well, that's up for interpretation, but they didn't think that. We thought there was going to be a retrial for the third of the Halloween suspects, Halloween murder.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
The 2011 shooting outside Arts Liquor in Canyon Country off Soledad and Sierra right there.
Where the Canyon Country post office is.
Right there.
The robbery, non-robbery, there was a robbery that turned bad, sort of.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it.
It's a kind of a long narrative, but essentially this man, this homeless man saw this other guy getting robbed, and he was outside of the liquor store with his 8-year-old son, intervened, got beat up, and then they shot him, and he died in front of his young son. And so one of the guys, there was 3 17-year-olds, they were 17 at the time this happened, one of them just got 4 life sentences. One of the 3 defendants, which is Brandon Higgs, was the jury found 7-5 in favor of not guilty. And so he was expected to be retried on the charges. And at the day they were there to schedule his retrial, he ended up taking a plea to get about 16 years.
That's a huge plea.
Right.
When you've already kind of sort of won. I mean, if you think about it.
But here's the thing, is just that, I don't know, and John, you're the lawyer.
Yeah, I know.
But there was another guy that's set to get even more time. They're expecting in a month, so he's looking at his 2 co-defendants doing multiple life sentences, and he has a chance to do 16 years.
That's good.
And as you know, 16 years is not going to be 16 years. Yeah. It's probably going to be closer to
unless you're Aaron Hernandez, which is life without parole.
Yep.
That was as a Raiders fan,
as a Raiders fan, we all
it's not us this time.
Looked at the headline and we're like, hey, it's not wearing black and silver.
We're up against a break. Can you stick around?
Yeah,
for the next one. All right, good. All right, you're listening to Gazette Radio Hour with Doug and John on AM-1220 KHTS, Santa Clara's hometown station. We will be back.